That will be a skill that you should spend time learning. Being in a state of non work is actually good for me.
Ah, good morning, good morning, good morning, Tat.
The day definitely looks quite overcast. Maybe the sun's coming up, maybe it's not, but I love me a winter overcast day. Why do I love it? I've tried to think about it. I think it just is an even greater excuse to just relax and live slow and not work. Not work in the conventional sense. Naturally, when you're sitting out and thinking, productivity, creativity, they're all a byproduct of being in a state of ease, right? At least for me. If I'm not in a state of utter ease, I'm not going to be very creative. So, being in a state of non work is actually good for me if you come to think about it. I don't know if it's making sense. You think I'm just blabbering early morning. I hope you see where I'm going with this. When we are here together, we look at a lot of types. For example, this one we looked at the institutional base. Next session, we'll be looking at the larger bases. Those are ideal for you because those are ideal for positional trades. Taking a position and holding for a while. All you need to do is, because you're aware of all of this, whenever you take a trade next, make a pointer as to what was my rationale for taking this. That decides your timeline. No. All right, the market's open. Pretty much everything looks like it's in red, except Grow, of course, running tremendously. But one thing that you need to educate yourself about appropriately is to be able to spot transitions when the stock is transitioning from stage one to two, and then two to three, and three to four. In hindsight, when you look at a chart, of course, it looks very easy to say this is stage one, two, three, and four. But as it's happening, those clues, the choppiness, the time spent around the 50 moving average. If you can spot those transitions, then you can spend time in stocks longer because some of you might want to take positional trades, not daily buying and selling like most of us do, but like hold it for a while, let it run as long as it acts right. And that can only happen when you can fully understand the nature of a stage two and the nature of stage one. That will be a skill that you should spend time learning. Most of us are worrying about what to buy, what to sell, but it's these things that really matter, I think.
इतनी गर्मी हो रही है, इतना बढ़िया मौसम है।
नहीं मुंह पे धूप लग रही है ना मुंह पे नहीं लग रही है
आपको नहीं ठीक लग रहा?
All right, before we wind up today's video and I head to the gym, let's talk about what sort of setups we are basically looking at. And this is only one of the setups that can be traded. There are long bases and there are tight flag bases. So eventually you have to try them and see which one's working for you, what the market is really rewarding. But let's look at this one chart and see what you can gather from it. All right, firstly, we're at the weekly chart, so let's just quickly check it out. This entire area naturally will be one big stage two that can potentially be traded. But when do we get to start? When do we get interested in this? After breach of this level, then after breach of this level, right? This is basically when you start to get interested. So this is where you'd basically be interested in the script, potentially try to trade this move. And now recently what we've seen is this is one long stage two. But when do you get interested in this? Only in this area after this resistance is broken. That's point number one. Now, because this is a weekly chart, you have one big follow through move of 15%, followed by another move of 16%, right? So basically, after this one big move, you should be very interested in this move. This could be a continuation base. Will it work? Honestly, who knows? We don't know. But we should be prepared in case it decides to work, right? So this naturally, as we've already drawn, happens to be the resistance. Switching to the daily time frame. This is the setup basically where we're looking at. Now, it would be very nice if we could have entered somewhere here, but we hadn't. We had an earnings report. The stock can go anyway. But we'll be very interested in the future should something like this happen. Because if it breaks out, then we will be ready to take a risk in this. And will it work? We don't know. One thing we must note is that the market doesn't seem too excellent. I mean, it's okay. We have the market right here. And if we just see what's happening there, we've been sort of going up and then we've come down and then again we've sort of made this bearish flag sort of a situation. So if the market continues to go down, of course, trading will not be lots of fun. So on the market front, things are not very exciting. Otherwise, the stock looks lovely, and this is the sort of setup that you can trade. All right, so let me know if you've traded such setups. I'm pretty sure you have traded this setup. Let me know what your experience is with such setups. Do they work? Do they not work? In my experience, they work tremendously well in healthy markets. In unhealthy markets, they give you a lot of trouble. But then in an unhealthy market, any sort of setup will give you a lot of trouble. So let me know how this is going for you. Overall, spend your life consciously evolving. And I also read something nice in this book, 101 Essays That Will Change Your Life. This is gifted to me by somebody at the Level Up Weekend. Preeti gave it to me, so many thanks, Preeti. I did see something in the contents which was nice, that your life is a bunch of stories and not a novel. Love that idea, since that empowers us. You can change the story anytime. But a novel, once it goes a certain way, it has to continue that way. A life is not that. If you've been indisciplined, you can certainly get more disciplined in the future. So, yeah, a bit of rant that way. I'll see you later. Tomorrow, we have another vlog coming. And I hope these vlogs are enriching your life for sure.